Hi everybody and welcome back to Tales of Wanderlust. I'm Cass, this is Jasper and Napoleon, and we are here in the Valley of the Gods. So Jasper and I are about to hop in the 4Runner, go do some exploring, and if you want to tag along, stay tuned. The Valley of the Gods has been on my list for years of places to come. Although we've driven through Monument Valley in that area before, we've never actually camped here in the Valley of the Gods. The reason is because there really isn't any cell signal. So I have a few bars of 3G, but calls keep dropping, texts can't go through. So it's not a place that I can camp at and work. Usually I don't like to travel every few days and move the RV. So I find a spot where we have full signal, we settle in there, and then we do day trips off of that. But since I'm driving from Colorado into southern Utah, this was on the way and it is a weekend. So we pulled in, we have this really nice private site so Jasper and Napoleon can run around outside with no issues at all. Jasper and I are now going to hop into the truck and do the Valley of the Gods loop. So when I do these kind of loops, I download the offline map on onX Off-Road, and that is how I can see where I'm going, see how much further I have. You can also drop different pins if you need to. So I can pin where my RV is and find my way back, which is the most important thing. The nice thing about it is it also shows you the public versus private land. When we go on these trips, I try to find really remote areas where he and I can jump out, wander around a little bit, and he can enjoy being off leash. Enough talking, let's hop on this road and see what there is to see. Now you can see why my car is always dirty. When you're driving down these dry dirt roads, there is so much dust that kicks up that the entire inside of the car gets covered. If the windows are down, of course, it's the worst, but it even comes through your vents. Now this whole area is a really well-known boondocking area, so there's actually a good amount of traffic on this road. It's also a pretty well-maintained road so far. We'll see how it gets. And the sites here are really spaced out. So even though there are so many campers along this road, it still feels really private in your own individual spots. We're gonna give Jasper a break here from the car. Oda. So we are pretty much in the middle of nowhere right now. And the funny thing is, look at this rock. It looks like a little T-Rex. It's even got the little arms on the back side of it. Definitely a T-Rex. We're about 3.5 miles in. I reset the odometer a little too late in the trip, so it's not exact, but 3.5 miles in, and there's still campsites along the road, and nothing on the road has been really that hard. I could have easily gotten the base camp this far back. I don't know what it takes to tow a 30-foot trailer because I've never done it before. So with some of the hills, I don't know if you could have brought a big trailer back here, but the base camp or really any vehicle would have made it back here completely fine. The road's getting rougher, so my co-pilot has come to visit. When it gets really bumpy, sometimes he actually tries to sit here in the front seat, but my backpack is up there today. I also don't like him in the front seat because just in case anything happens, the airbag would deploy. So I do like to try to keep him in the back. Really love when you get to spots like this and you can see the road going through the bright red desert. I think it is such a cool contrast. And this guy here has a good campsite. That is quite the view from his. These rock formations are so crazy. It's just hard to think how erosion can actually do this and make it so thin and tall on top and then it doesn't crumble. Mother Nature is really impressive. It is a beautiful campsite. and it's completely free. This is why we have to take care of our public lands, so that people can come out here and have amazing campsites like that. That was a dust devil. Those happen a lot out here. It's just like a mini wind tornado. It's tiny, and they just pop up and go across the desert. Really cool to see, and it's just like a big cloud of dust rolling around the desert. Kind of like the Tasmanian devil in real life. Is a loop, which is nice. So we are entering the Mexican hat side, and now you can see the back side of the T-Rex. He does not look like a T-Rex from this angle. This road is easy enough. You do not need four-wheel drive in dry conditions, but the suspension in the 4Runner, it sure does make these hills and these up and downs a lot of fun. We're gonna take a little side street off of the main road because I see trees that are turning yellow. So we're gonna go enjoy some fall. He knows we're getting out. You ready to go outside? Yeah? All right, let's go. Now this is actually a really gorgeous site. When I'm doing these kind of side trips and I find a campsite like this, which has absolutely gorgeous scenery. It has some greenery since it's right on a wash, and it's super private. I end up pinning it on my Google Maps. That way I know where it is and I can come back to it. This one has 3 bars of 3G, that's it. So when you pin something on Google Maps, there is a way to put notes in there. That way I know I can get here, I just can't spend a work week here. But with these views, I think we'll be back. My travel buddy is very good at finding shade, especially in the desert. My buds. Oh, my buddy. Hello. It is so quiet. Listen. I don't hear any planes, cars. I love it. And the crazy part is there isn't a cloud in the sky. So if you want to see stars, we're not near any major cities at all down here in southern Utah, and it is perfectly clear. So tonight, Jasper and I will be going out and definitely checking out the stars. Now, I am by no means a scientist, but I am a tourist. And when I was in Moab a couple years ago, I learned about living dirt. I'm sure there's a more technical name for it, but in the desert, there is actually some sort of living organism that grows and lives on top of the dirt. So if you're just wandering through the Utah desert, you could be killing living organisms. So in Arches National Park, when we went on one of the hikes where it's not a designated trail, you're actually just climbing through a bunch of the rock formations, they actually tell you not to walk on the dirt, but instead to walk in the washes. And that way you are guaranteed to not be walking on the living earth, because it takes, I can't remember if it's decades or centuries to grow. So if you step on it, it's gonna take a really long time to come back, if ever. So with that, I have no idea if any of the dirt here in southern Utah is that living dirt, but I don't wanna risk it. So when Jasper and I go for these little excursions, I always make sure we stay in the washes, just in case. One of the most important things when we go on these day trips is to bring enough water for both Jasper and myself. So I usually end up carrying an entire Nalgene bottle worth of water just for Jasper, and then I fill up the bladder in my backpack, which is about 2.5 liters, and I bring that for myself. That's the minimum I carry. Sometimes I even carry my 3-gallon jug with water, just in case. Look at that happy face. You ready to go home? Jasper. All right, let's go, bud. Just came off of the dirt road from Valley of the Gods, and I need to take a left here on the paved road in order to get back, but on the right-hand side, it looks really pretty and the road goes up there. If I zoom in on my maps, it says it's the Moki Dugway. The road is pure switchbacks. So it is a very mountainous road. So I'm glad I'm not towing, but I think we're gonna take a little detour, head on up there, check out what the view is, and then we'll go on home. All right, that sign back there, it said there are 5-mile-an-hour hairpin turns and a 10% grade. So this'll be fun, maybe. I always get really nervous on these roads that are very narrow and then have a sharp drop off on the edge, but that Coachman RV is going up here, so I am pulled over on the side of the road for a minute. I'm just watching to see how far he gets, and then I will head on up as well. That Coachman, he's still making it. You go, RV, you go. It's funny, it goes from dirt to pavement, and then the pavement only lasts a little bit, see, right here on the turn, and then we're back to dirt. How strange. Okay, that road was a little freaky. I don't like heights. I have a fear of heights. So when we got around some of those hairpin turns where it dropped off, it was definitely freaky. But this view is incredible. And I can actually see Colorado from here. So the less snow-covered mountains in the distance are actually near Mancos area, which is where I was right before this. And then beyond that are the San Juan Mountains, and they are completely covered in snow. And then through here in the valley, you can see the Valley of God's Road, which is what we just did. Really beautiful view, but I am not looking forward to going back down. We made it to the bottom! Woohoo! It always, the adrenaline of doing something that is a little bit outside of your comfort zone is intimidating when you're doing it, but then when it's over, it's such a good feeling. We did it. It was awesome. It was beautiful. It is a gorgeous drive. So none of the drives we've done today require any kind of specialized vehicle, 4-wheel drive, anything like that. So you can do these in, I've seen minivans, I've seen sedans. I would think you need a little bit of ground clearance to do the Valley of the Gods, so I wouldn't do a really low sedan, but none of it was really complicated roads at all. The nice part is there are areas you can get to like this, and you don't need a 4Runner or an off-road vehicle to do it. But that was a fun surprise. I did not know that road was here. It is not my favorite to do those really windy roads with the sharp drop-offs. I like to push myself past some of those fears and see how much I can do. So with that one, since the Coachman was going up, I knew I could absolutely make it if I put my mind to it. So that's why I pushed myself through and got to the top. So that Valley of the Gods drive was about 15 miles total. This added on about an extra 7. So we only did 22 miles today. Really not that bad at all. So let's head on home. I am hungry and I'm sure Napoleon is looking forward to seeing us. Home sweet home! It always feels really good to get back after a day out exploring. So this guy and I are gonna go make some chicken tacos with Napoleon in the base camp. Thank you so much everybody for tagging along with us. We'll see you next time. How's your nap, little one?